Hey there guys, welcome back to Wargaming Luke, and just when I was doing another beginner's guide video for the end of, for today really, if not tomorrow, we had a new transmission drop from Atomic Mass Games on Nick Fury and his shield agents, and damn, holy crap guys, if these grunts aren't getting interesting.
Ooh, you kiss your mother with that mouth?
Anyways, before we get into the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because all things Marvel Crisis Protocol here, I react to the news that drops from AMG as soon as we can, any leaks or whatever, however it comes out. I tend to just react to it and break it down for you guys. We do reviews, all sorts. I'm going to be getting into battle reports very soon. I'm going to be doing all sorts of videos to do with my hobby side of the game, etc. Make sure you subscribe for all things MCP here, and make sure you're throwing a like on the video, guys, and leaving those comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking of this new Nick Fury stat card and the grunts that come with him. There's a lot to break down today, guys, in this one. Special thanks to our sponsors over at Board in Brum. Check them out for all your Marvel Crisis Protocol needs at fantastic discount prices, and be sure to check out their upcoming events, most of which I'll probably see you there too. Links can be found in the description below. So without further ado, like I say, lots to get into, so let's get into this one. There's all the fluff at the top there for Fury and his shield agents. So the man who would become Nick Fury Jr. was once known as Marcus Johnson. The child of Special Agents Nia Jones and Nick Fury, he spent most of his life not knowing the truth of his parentage, should I say, or of the infinity formula that was pumping through his veins thanks to his father. After educating himself at the University of Georgia and rising through the ranks of the United States military, Johnson learned the truth of his origin during the War of the Serpent. As the Serpent plunged the world into chaos, Marcus Johnson discovered he was in fact the son of Nick Fury. He embraced his father's legacy to join S.H.I.E.L.D. as one of its top agents, eventually rising to become the right hand of director Maria Hill. Awesome stuff. Those of you who have watched the films, read the comics, will already know that, but I always like to engage in the fluff as well. So, getting into the actual stat card for Nick Fury then, and then we'll take a look at his agents as well, since they do get their own stat card. Fury doesn't go into the field on his own, however, fighting by his side is a crack team of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who bring to bear the technological might of the organisation. Each one of them is ready to hold the line against any megalomaniac, I have to get that right, extraterrestrial invader or other entity that shows its face. God damn it, AMG, you're making me spread my words and my vocabulary this week. Fury hits the field of Crisis Protocol as the point man of a squad of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, but he is still a respectable package standing on his own. Fury has enough stamina to stay on the field long enough to get the job done, which is enhanced by his decent physical and mystical defense, I'll say so, when he needs to go on the offense. This S.H.I.E.L.D. agent brings a set of versatile physical attacks. Fury's two basic attacks are the Fury Special and his tactical knife. Both hit at 5 strength and have the Pierce Special rule, and his knife can add the bleed condition on his target. When Fury wants to bring down a priority target though, he can lead from the front. This attack costs 3 power to use and hits at 7 strength, but as Fury lands his strike, he can call in for a tactical assist from a nearby allied S.H.I.E.L.D. agent's character who can make a short advance and unload on Fury's target with a pistol attack. We'll get more into that in a moment, guys. So as we look at the card here, before we go any further, actually I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll read this part as well here. Fury is also a potent tactical piece in a crisis. His unique leadership, last line of defense, so remember guys, he's the new leader for the S.H.I.E.L.D. affiliation, represents the never say die attitude of this extraordinary agent. Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. never quit in the face of a threat, be it a megalomaniac with a fancy hoverboard or a literal Asgardian god bent on chaos and destruction. This leadership allows Fury's team to score victory points the first time an allied character is dazed or KO'd each round. Awesome, that's the first time we've seen that mechanic in a leadership. Additionally, if Fury's team has equal to or greater than the opponent's VPs, victory points each time an allied teammate is damaged by an enemy attack, they can spend 1 power to advance toward the attacker, pressing ever forward in the face of a crisis. Nice. Okay. Fury's last two superpowers both interact with the shield agents he brings into the field. Call in the Cavalry is a 2-power ability that allows him to place a shield agent onto the battlefield who can immediately interact with an extract objective. Ziplining down from a hoverfire to pull civilians out of the hot zone is all in a day's work for these agents, and no matter how many times they go down, there's always another grunt ready to pick up the mantle and carry on. And that's the shield agents card there, which we don't actually have the image on, which is a bit naff, a bit cheap in my opinion, but hey, anyway, minor. We'll move on to that in a moment, but let's go back up to Nick Fury's card, and then they do carry on a bit lower down on little bits on grunts. Anyway, I have, guys, I'll tag it at the end of this video, the last few videos we've gone more in depth as to how grunts work, so I'm not going to do that here, but that is there for you to check out as well if you haven't already, so do check those ones out, guys. Nick Fury's card then, 6 health, that's pretty good for a 4 threat, but probably what you'd expect. Medium movement, pretty nice, what you'd expect. 2 size, obviously. He's a 4 threat character. 4-3-4 defenses, that to me is really good for a 4 threat character for defenses. I think that's pretty tidy. His injured side, from what I can see, guys, unless any of you want to point out anything I'm missing here, he just goes down a health on that side to 5 health instead of 6. So that's my only thing I can see there. So then for his Fury special attack, his build, one of his 2 builders, range 3, 5 attack dice. After the attack is resolved, you just gain a straight up power. So a nice simple builder if you want to guarantee that 1 power. And he gets Pierce on a wild, which is pretty tasty. A lot of people I've seen already chatting about this straight from first reactions, but people are saying they think Nick Fury's stat card without the assist of his shield agents, he's not that great. I actually think he's alright for a 4 threat, to be fair. Tactical Knife is only a range 2 attack 5 dice, but he gains power for the damage dealt instead of just 1 standard power. Causes bleed on a wild and pierce on a wild as well. Again, I think pretty strong, to be quite honest. Lead from the front is a range 3 spender attack, 7 dice, 3 power though to use it. After this attack is resolved, an allied shield agent's character within 3, so here's Grunt, may advance short towards the target character. Then the shield agent's character may make a pistol's attack targeting that character. Then going on to his superpowers, the leadership for shield. If you have fewer victory points than your opponent, the first time each round an allied character is dazed or KO'd by an enemy effect, after the effect is resolved, you score 1 victory point. So obviously if your grunts are dazed or KO'd, which they are, then you score a victory point. So pretty easy way of gaining a victory points there, I would say. If you have an equal number or more victory points than your opponent, when an enemy character damages an allied character with an attack, the allied character may spend 1 power. If it does after the attack is resolved, the allied character may advance short towards the attacking character. Not bad at all. Okay. So it's going to be a very aggressive affiliation. We'll get into that in a minute. Call in the Cavalry. If there is no allied shield agent's character in play, you may place it within 3 range. That's a long way of this character with an activated token. It may immediately interact with 1 extract objective token. It is part of your squad. So it becomes part of your squad then, and it can immediately interact with any extract objective. So you're looking at hammers, civilian tokens, anything like that to help rescue them. Director of Shield is a continuous superpower. So the previous one, it's 2 power to bring in your grunts. If they go down, you can bring them in again. Director of Shield, when an allied shield agent's character is within 3 of this character, it may reroll 1 of its attack or defense dice, and this character gains 1 power whenever the allied character deals damage or suffers damage from an enemy effect. So given that your grunts are so weak, I think they're only like 3 health if we take a look. 2 health, sorry, only 2 health. You're easily going to be getting power all the time from your grunts taking damage. It's all about Nick Fury's interaction with his grunts here. One thing I would point out though is you always have to be within 3 range of them, so you could see the same issue here with like your Rocket and Groot situation, where you can keep pushing the grunts or Nick Fury himself away from his grunts, so he's outside of 3 range, which kind of shuts them down pretty heavy. In my opinion, but the leadership interacts with grunts really well. He's constantly gaining power, or you can spend power to advance towards your opponent and be quite aggressive. you don't have to worry about being aggressive and trying to deal damage all the time and KOing and dazing your enemy models, because if going aggressive into your opponent, you're feeding them power and they come back at you twice as strong, it doesn't matter, because if you're behind on victory points, you gain a victory point for the first daze or KO for an allied character that turn anyway, so you just come back a little bit with that aspect of the leadership. So I think very aggressive team. It's going to be a super aggressive team. The fact that you kind of trigger all the time to cause your shield agents to use pistol attacks off of your spender attack with the lead from the front, attack action for Nick Fury is going to be very aggressive. I personally think that his standard stat card and his standard attacks are really good, because Pierce, I don't think people realise how good Pierce can be, as you're going to be able to get in range for a lot of these attacks if you need to by advancing towards your an enemy model with these things. It's just going to be a case of keeping track though of victory points, of course, and if whether you're behind or ahead of on victory points of your opponent, and kind of changing your tact with that, I suppose. And I think this is a really unique leadership. It's nice to see something very different, and I'm interested to see how this works. I'll give my further impression on how I think the grunts are going to be after this, but obviously you're giving your grunts rerolls here, as it says at the bottom there, for attack and defense dice, which is quite nice. And if they take damage or whatever, then he's gaining a power as well, which feeds his other stuff, and also just means that, obviously bear this in mind, if you summon grunts for 2 power and then they get killed the next activation by your opponent, you're gaining 1 power for that anyway, minimum, which means you're already halfway there to bringing back your grunts. Then you could do a Fury special and bring in grunts anyway, and it doesn't cost an action to bring grunts back in. You can bring them in within 3 and they can pick up an extract for free straight off the bat, because as we will see here on the Shield Agents card, 2 health, medium movement, pretty damn good, 2 height, 1/1/1 defenses, so these are going to go down super easy. Pistols, physical, 3 range, 4 strength, so 4 dice, 0 power cost. All infinite superpowers buy you time. When this character drops an objective token, its controlling player places it on the battlefield instead of their opponent. So usually whenever you drop an objective token with extract objectives with your friendly model, your opponent places it within 2. But if a grunt drops it, by the looks of things, you get to place it as opposed to them, which means you're always probably going to be pretty close to Nick Fury, so you can drop it onto Nick Fury, ready for him to pick it up later if needs be. Shield Operatives, this character cannot contest secure objective tokens. This character does not have to pay power when interacting with civilian or asset tokens. So when Fury places them with the 2 power superpower, places them in onto a secure objective, they can pick that up for free. There's no further power cost. Very strong, I think. And then they've got the innate grunts Nick Fury special rule there, because they obviously link to him and only him, no other master, if you like. Moving on, they say, lastly, Fury's Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. innate superpower makes the agents who follow him into the field that much better. His valiant underlings can re-roll a die on attack or defense rolls when they are close enough to hear his tactical directive, and Fury himself gains power when the agents deal or take damage. So when they deal damage as well, that's also important to probably note there. And what about these agents? Well, they are a special kind of unit, a grunt. Grunts are tied to 1 or more parent characters and can be brought into the battlefield to provide support. If you're itching to know more about them, they've done that. We've covered that transmission in the last video. As I said, you can go and check that out, guys, for more information on how the grunts work. Shield agents have limited stamina and defense, but can make it the difference in extreme situations thanks to their buy you time innate superpower. Very true. While the agents can't interact with secure objectives, they don't have to pay power to interact with civilian or asset tokens. Very nice. And like a bunch of heroes playing keep away with a dangerous artifact, they drop an objective token. Their controlling player chooses where to place it instead of their opponent, and this can buy the precious time needed to get your hands on those vital extract objectives. I would definitely agree. And yeah, they've just gone on with the fluff at the bottom there. We can't wait to bring him to the field and for you guys to pre-order it, etc, etc. So, overall thoughts then on how these grunts are going to work, what we've seen here. The new shield leadership I think is really cool. very kind of aggressive, I would say. Fits in well, by the way, with the aggressive superpowers and different things that some of the affiliated characters will likely have. Just going to bring up here for you guys, you can see Black Widow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. here. She's definitely going to be affiliated, you would imagine. And just to point out that one of her superpowers here, interrogate, at the start of the cleanup phase, so at the end of the round, if the character is within 2 of 1 or more dazed enemy characters, it may use this superpower. Its controlling player increases the amount of victory points they score from crisis cards during this cleanup phase by 1. Very, very good. I will say that for sure, because this is going to be an aggressive team, so it just suits her down to the ground that you can be aggressive and kind of use that superpower now, and it actually makes it way more viable. So you could definitely put a ton of stuff into this team. Maybe Punisher as well. He has a card where if you, I think, KO enemy models, then you get extra victory points at the end of the round. And maybe we can now actually build a list around KOing, dazing your opponent's characters with all of these kind of cards and superpowers that we haven't seen come into play before. How do I think, now that we've seen more on how Nick Fury interacts with his grunts, how do I think that's going to play? As I've said, I'm going to hold further judgment until I've actually played with this. My first thoughts on it are very similar to what I said in the last videos. I think that grunts are going to be great for soaking up your opponent's attacks, and don't underestimate how vital it is that you're soaking up your opponent's attacks with this, and how strong that will be. As I say, I've played many skirmish games, and I know for a fact that the more you can soak up your opponent's attacks, the more effective you can be in a game, because you only have singular models in a game, you only have so many actions in skirmish games, and this sort of thing can play a massive difference. The fact that you've got almost a range for grab for objectives by placing a grunt down and grabbing it for free as well, by the way, and having an extra model on the field, I think it's very effective, and I don't think his stat card's too shabby even without the grunts there. So you've got all this interaction going on for rerolls and whatnot. As I say, you do need to keep within 3 range of each other though, which could be the one let down there, because your opponent could manipulate you on the battlefield so that you're not within 3 of each other. The other thing, as I've said previously as well, I could see being really overpowered. Imagine this in some Sam spam lists. I don't know how this is going to work, but if grunts get KO'd, does that mean that you get to activate your leadership for Sam Wilson, where you then get to gain power and move, or advance, should I say? And obviously you can then just keep bringing in grunts, because you, like I say, are you going to be able to have Nick Fury's S.H.I.E.L.D. agents go down in a Sam Wilson list, move another friendly model if you wish to, then you've got, say, Shadowland Daredevil in the same list later in the turn, can bring in his grunt, because the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents have gone down. You can only have 1 grunt on the field at a time. He's more than allowed, I would imagine, to bring 1 in then again. So as I've said in the previous video, you're not able to spam the field with grunts, but you're always going to have 1 on the field. You're always going to have 1 extra model than your opponent does to help with objective grabbing, or to help with basically being another target on the field to protect other things. And I don't know, that does seem fairly good to me. We're just gonna have to wait and see, aren't we, how that works. But I'm very excited that we have this here now. Give me your thoughts, guys. This is a card that I think I can use and build around as well, to put into campaigns and things, to just have lots of agents on the field if I wish to, for a certain mission. So I'm happy with that. I think that's pretty cool. Maybe you just have Nick Fury as the boss character or something, commanding lots of grunts. I think that could be really cool. And I'm excited to have a play around with that, like making some sort of an ultimate encounter or something. I think that could be quite fun. Hoping this isn't going to be game breaking. I don't think it will be. I have faith. Now that I've seen it as well, I have even more faith that this will work perfectly fine. Thanks as always for watching to the end of the video, guys. I hope you are excited about the new Nick Fury model and his S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and let me know what you're thinking about the grunts now, what you're thinking about his new unit stat card and the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Let me know your thoughts. Get chatting to me in the comments below. I always love chatting to you guys, as always. To lead us out now, we've got a very down-to-earth comment by Nick Fury, as always. Sooner or later, all human beings have to face the truth about themselves, the difference between who we are and who we think we are. Very wise words by Nick Fury there. Until next time, guys, make sure to throw a like on the video and leave those comments down below, and subscribe, of course. Until next time, happy wargaming. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Make sure to check out all of our socials. If you want some quick reads on everything Marvel Crisis Protocol, you can go check out our friends over at Web Warrior Protocols. But for all your wargaming and of course Marvel Crisis Protocol needs, go over to Board in Brum for fantastic discount prices. All of these things, links can be found in the description below this video. Happy wargaming.